Jordan Tower with JT News. Meek Mill just did a big interview, and he did it with my mixtapes. And I was wondering why he didn't do it with Hot 97 or, Power 105, The Breakfast Club. But it makes sense because Dream Chasers 4 is about to drop, and he's probably dropping it exclusively with my mixtapes. And it's there to promote the mixtape. I did notice this interview probably is 2 months old because he mentioned Lord Scooter had died 2 days prior. If you don't know, Lord Scooter was a big upcoming rapper in the Baltimore area. And, he was sad to see him pass because he was about to blow. But basically, I guess they held off on the interview because DC4 is about to drop any day now. So, he addressed a lot of things that we were wondering about. He never really addressed the Drake beef and, talked about the Nicki Minaj thing and, the taking an L part, which, I don't really believe he took an L, but, the whole taking an L part, and he addressed, companies drawing back on him for everything. So basically, the interview kind of starts out talking about DC4. And what's exciting about this interview? He sounds really inspired right now. It seems like he's past that whole, it was only a year ago we got that Meek album, right? So he's a year later. He went through all the crap with the Drake thing and, all that bullshit, which wasn't nothing. And, he just got off of house arrest a month or two ago. So, he's back to being inspired again. He seemed like he got a little sidetracked with that for a while, which is understandable because it was so massive. And, Meek likes to take on all these beefs personally on Twitter, which is fine, So it's understandable, but it seems like he got that Meek inspiration back where he's going to just get to Meek music, the Meek music we love. He's going to spit that shit. And it seems like he's working with a lot of new producers. I'm sure he's still working with Jalil Beats and people that he's started with. But it seems like he's adding some new producers in the mix. He said he's not necessarily chasing the new Metro beat or this, And, as we know, he might not be even chasing the new Metro beat because it seems like Future is obviously on tour with Drake and Future has an alliance with Drake. He's probably staying away from that whole side, sticking more to core crew and new alliances. And, not going off anybody else that has ties to Drake or any other stuff, because fuck that, you know what I mean? Keep everything in-house where you can trust people, Jalil, and maybe some new talent out there. So then he kind of addresses a lot of stuff about, Puma. Puma, for instance. He was the first person I saw really embrace Puma 5 years ago when he first blew. And now everybody's got deals with Puma. I think, Rihanna's got a deal. A bunch of people got deals with Puma. And he mentioned that DC4, this is his reintroduction to the streets, to the, to show all the people that tried to bury him and turn their backs on him during the Drake beef. And the people that were coming at him, like Drake and other people, trying to end him. He said, I'm going to show you, this is the rebirth of me on a new side to my career. And I believe this because this is the Meek we knew before he blew up. He's hungry. If he stays away from all that stuff and just gets to the core of Meek Mill, the streets and everything and the lyrics, he's back. He's never left, but I'm saying he's just back to having the crown again, that street crown that he had before. He still has it. I'm just saying, he was battling a lot of internet trolls and everything before. He mentioned that a lot of companies started acting a different way when Drake was kind of winning the beef on the internet side, because the internet kind of embraced Drake during that beef and turned on Meek Mill. Not saying that he took an L. I'm just saying that's just how things turned out. And he even said Jay-Z gave him some great advice and said, stop trying to battle with these suckers, man. Just focus on you. And that was great advice because it's you can't take on all the internet trolls, They love to see you down. 50 Cent always had his best. They love to build you up and tear you down. And that's what they were trying to do to Meek. And, he shouldn't allow that to happen. He came from a lot worse circumstances in Philly. I've been there. I worked with a lot of people in Philly. And, shit is just, it's a hard place to come out of. And, he did it. He did it, man. And, he just needs to stick to what he's good at. He's really good at rapping, man. Fuck all that getting sidetracked with the Drake beef and all that bullshit. Sometimes you just got to ignore that shit and just do you, because the music's going to speak for itself. He puts out good music. His mixtapes, all the Dream Chasers mixtapes are fire, man. So as I said, he did address the Lord Scooter thing because he hates to see he loves to see new rappers coming up. I think his artist Chino, he talked about that, and how sad that was, and basically, he likes to see new guys come up, and he hates to see when they're robbed of that. He also reveals that he feels like his career is on a new level still, even though the internet claims he took an L. Like he references that I want a Billboard and I got a platinum single now. I didn't have that before, So like I feel like my career's on a new height. I mean, he did great numbers with his album too. So dreams worth more than money. So then I like this. This is where he motivates the streets in this interview. He says, "I'm preaching the new gangster," like he mentions when he first got in, he thought gangster was like, busting your gun, selling drugs, da 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 da. But nah, he looks at it differently now, and he says gangster's like getting some money and buying your mom a house, getting a good career, a legal career where you don't got to worry about looking behind your back and everything, putting your son through school, gifting a school to teach kids better in the hood, giving back to the hood, He said that's gangster. And I agree with him, because these kids be picking up guns and shooting each other over nothing nowadays, man. There's too much bloodshed going on. And I like that he's preaching a different way, because, like, kids follow their favorite rapper, man. And Meek is a lot of people's, especially people in the gutter situations, that's their inspiration. They see Meek coming through in those whips, buying new whips, having a girl that makes a lot of money and all that stuff, and they look up to him because he's doing the unthinkable. People never probably counted Meek Mill out when he was back then, when he was coming up back then, and people, they need him for inspiration, and if he's inspiring them to do great things like that and not do violence, that's a win. Then he really addresses the whole Drake thing, and he says, everybody was going against me because of a diss rap, and I'm being teased because my girl makes more money than me. But he looked at it like, that's dope that his girl makes more money than him, because he doesn't gotta, support his girl's whole life at that point. They're getting money together, spending money together, and he thought it was dope and live for him to have a girl that makes more money because it puts them both on new heights. Like, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce makes more than Jay-Z at this point, and that's dope. Like, why not? Your girl makes money, you make money. It's inspirational. You guys inspire each other, and you guys have a different connection at that point. It's not like one person's on a pedestal and one person's below you. I agree with them on that. I mean, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny in the Drake diss, but really thinking about it, it's kind of dope. I mean, you got a dope girl like Nicki Minaj holding you down, you're holding her down. That's dope. Then he basically says he's happy. Why try to crush him when he's happy in his relationship? Then he basically kind of ends it off with the DC4 thing, and he says a lot of people turned on him in the industry. The so-called real people turned on him, and he tightened up his circle. He saw people for who they were. All the people that were spitting that real shit, they kind of turned on him during the whole Drake beef and a bunch of other stuff, and he's just like, fuck that, I'm here for my people I came in here with, and I'm here to inspire them and inspire the streets and inspire people to do good things. So this was a good interview. So my mixtapes did a good job getting this. I can understand why Meek did a bit more personal interview with a mixtape site on this, because, mainstream media is kind of going to have their agenda. And here he kind of could control the interview, and he needs to have more control of what he's doing at this point for his relaunch. And I think it was smart publicity-wise, because on Hot 97 or Power 105 or whatever, things could go either way, because their agenda is to address the Drake thing and embarrass him. They don't care if you look good or not, they're looking for those numbers. And that's media. I mean, I'm nothing against it. I mean, that's just media. So it's just more important for him to control, just like Drake controls all his interviews. Look, Drake, he's following. I'm not saying he's following Drake. He's just following greats like Drake, Wayne, and people that Eminem, even mostly. You don't see him on the Breakfast Club. He's kind of controlling the interviews he does, and probably has talking points and things to not talk about. And you can, when you control your own interviews, you kind of control the headlines a little better. But anyways, check it out below. I put the link below, and tell me what you guys think about this. Like, I'm a fan of Drake and Meek Mill, but I didn't get all caught up in the beef thing. I mean, I thought it was interesting. It was good, but I was upset that Meek got so carried away with it when he should have just pushed it aside, moved on, and did DC4 a long time ago. But I'm glad to see he's back focused, man, because it's about that time.